Hey guys, welcome back. It's Claytano. Thank you so much for tuning in as always. And what I'm going to be doing today is basically playing a video of last week's Arena Rush Hour. It's only going to be the last 30 minutes of it because I didn't rush the first 30 minutes of it because that's part of my strategy, and I'll explain everything as we go along. So let me just start the video here and we'll kind of get right into it. The reason why I'm doing it this way is because it's hard for me to record at, I don't know, 12:30, 1 o'clock at night on a Sunday morning because my wife does have work the next day, so do I as well. So I was trying to think of ways around it where I can actually still get you guys out the rush hour content, but not, you know, but also still comply with my family and housely duties. But what I came up with was recording the video on my phone in bed so it's quiet, and then I can come back to it and commentate over everything, so that way you guys can get a little bit better look at what my actual thought process is going through it, because I can just go ahead and stop the video, play it, stop the video, play it again. The only thing is that I do notice that it's a little bit of a low quality video as far as the actual gameplay. I think it's like 360p, even though I thought I recorded it in 1080p. But it did come out kind of crappy, unfortunately. Basically though, we're just gonna chill, watch Rush Hour. I'll explain to you guys my thought process through it all. And this is with no natural 5-star monsters at all, other than Vermos on arena defense. And that's it. So Vermos is a fusion monster though. Yes, he's a nat 5, but he's a fusion monster, so that way you guys can actually get one if you really wanted to, if you wanted to copy my defense. But as we go along here, let's just start off by talking about my arena offense. So I have a couple of different types of arena offenses. I have a speed Lucian team, as you can see, with Light Lich, Bernard, and double Lucians. And then I have this team, which is Bernard, double Lucians, and Megan. I find this to be more effective than Bernard, double Lucians, and Seek, because that secondary attack bar boost from Megan is super helpful in not getting proc Nemesis on by, you know, Prahas, Aerials, Beladions, things like that. So with this though, the rune requirements is a lot more, because you have to have close to, if not 100% crit rate on your Lucians, as well as having a lot of damage on them as well. So it's really maybe not the easiest build to have for, you know, Conqueror level arena, but if you wanted to run a variation of it, your only weakness is going to be that you're probably going to get proc Nemesis from Aerials and things like that if you run a Seek Lucian team. I like to run the Megan Lucian team because there's lots of Nemesis out there, double Nemesis, things like that. You'll see a couple times I do get Nemesis procced, and it's a little bit tough for me to win, but most of the time I'm still able to pull it out. See, even there, I don't think he had Nemesis on it, but yeah, no Nemesis on the Aerial on that one. Even with the speed leader, I feel like he should at least carry Nemesis, at least one set of Nemesis on Aerial. Otherwise, it's not really doing you much good. But I kind of like this because I just get to sit back, relax, not worry about, you know, clicking. I could just drink my apple juice, talk about some stuff. Let's talk about Light Lich though. Let's talk about Light Lich. So with Light Lich, I made some comments in the past about how he doesn't, he's not very good. He does have a role in this team, however, it's not the best role. I would definitely replace my Light Lich with a Shimite if I had one, but I don't have a Shimite, and that's the Wind Sylph. For whatever reason, I have not gotten a Wind Shimite. I think Wind Shimites or Wind Sylphs are so overpowered. Not overpowered, but they're really good monsters, especially with the 24% Arena Speed Leader. It's a perfect perfect alternative to the Lich Lucian team that I'm running here. But let's talk about the Lich Lucian Bernard team over the Lich Lucian Bernard Megan team. So I don't have an attack bar or attack power boost, but I have an extra Lucian. So instead of running a Megan instead of one of the Lucians, I feel like getting off that extra damage, it's more damage, let's say it's more damage than the Megan would give me. Plus it's less of a chance to proc Nemesis on the first turn because you're doing less damage, you're taking less HP bar, and then you're coming in with the second Lucian to kind of clean up. That was Shredded Puzzles defense. I skipped it because I don't have my Zeros and I just didn't feel like spending a lot of time with the Freya on the defense. Freya defenses are really hard for people that don't have Zeros, I'll admit. You have to end up resorting to bruising it or just avoiding it. So with my Zeros being unruined, I did skip it for strategy purposes, you know. And you'll see me kind of check the clock periodically throughout the entire last 30 minutes here. Like that right there, I pulled the clock down, 12:38. That's just keeping an eye on how fast my attacks are, how many times I'm getting hit per minute, how many times I'm attacking per minute, things like that. And I'll show you guys the runes for all the monsters that I use in this rush hour at the very end of the video. So if you guys want to skip to that and then come back, you're more than welcome to. But don't skip too far ahead because throughout this entire rush hour, we're going to be talking about a lot of useful information, so you don't want to really miss any of it. But if you want to go skip and see the runes first and then come back, you're more than welcome to. So you see we got into G1, and then we got hit 4 times on defense, so it kind of kicked us right back out of G1. Unfortunately. So this team is pretty Lucianable. Technically should be. The only thing that I might run into is a super fast aerial double Nemesis healer, but I don't think that's the case in this one. That's why I was a little bit hesitant on it. Yeah, so aerial was able to heal up, and then it took me a couple extra turns to actually win. I think I may have lost. I'm not sure if I won or lost this one. My next strategy was to go after the Joltan here, because he's the defense break for the most part. I mean, I know Vanessa has one, but Joltan's the one that's going to be doing a lot of damage. Maybe I don't get this one. Yeah, I don't think I win. I needed to put the defense break down on aerial. Yeah, Vanessa, once Vanessa takes out my Lucian, it's pretty much game over. But as you can see, that's how important and useful the Nemesis aerial with the speed leader skill is on rated defense. It kind of, I mean, it cut through my speed Lucians here, and that's not easy. It's definitely not an easy thing to do with double attack bar boost as fast as they are, as fast as everybody is. It's really not an easy task. But the Vanessa speed leader definitely helps it. So yeah, I lost this one. I think this is one of the few that I did lose. Brought me all the way down to 708 rank, even though I did get a defense successful during that time frame as well. Just the loss plus the, I think I lost another defense at the same time. This one was a fun one to fight. It's Ariel, Gianna, Praha, and I think it's Wind Monkey King. Yeah, for me, I probably would put the Wind Monkey King on leader, especially with the Ariel being a defensive monster, just to give a little bit more HP. But she did cut me as well. She did. That's that double nemesis Praha though. That's why that happened. This is the one that I think I'm still able to win, but it took me entirely way too long. I think it was at least a 2-minute, 3-minute fight, if I remember correctly. So Monkey King procced a couple times, was able to stun me. Or kill my Megan at least. I don't know, maybe I didn't win this one. I got a couple really good stuns off there. I was lucky. Certainly lucky. Got rid of that one. Take out the monkey. Take out the monkey. If you go for anyone else besides the monkey, the chances are he's going to revenge and kill you. Especially Lucians. And then amputation magic for the win. But definitely not an easy fight, like I said, definitely not an easy fight. The double nemesis Praha was a solid choice. I did lose a defense at the same time that I won, so as you can see, it was a wash. I didn't go up, didn't go back down. It was just a wash. So that's the first time that I refreshed wings the entire rush hour. I started off with, I think, 8 wings. And that's the first time I refreshed. So my strategy throughout the Saturday, Sunday morning leading up into rush hour is to... Wow, why did I fight this team? Because they have that speed boost plus an attack bar booster, but then I realized, okay, I use my light lich in this situation because there's not a lot of tankiness behind this arena defense. So I was able to come in and beat it with a double illusion with speed leader. Yeah, so that's why I was able to win that. If you're gonna build a defense with, I know I was talking about something super important. Oh, okay, I remember. So, sorry, this is called live TV. But what happened was my strategy throughout Saturday and Sunday morning leading up into rush hour is to try to put myself in a situation where I'm not going to be getting hit by a lot of lower level players that's going to be able to drag my rank down throughout the entire rush hour. Meaning, as far as, say I started Conqueror 1. If I start Conqueror 1, then there's a lot of other Conqueror 1 players that have me on their list going into rush hour. I start climbing up into Conqueror 3, G1, G2, even when I'm using that 5s, going into G3, so on and so forth. It's devastating when you get up there and then you have some rando way back in C1 that sees you on their list and they decide that they're wanting to fight you and they actually beat you. Trust me, there's no worse feeling than losing probably 100 spots when you're in G3 because 2 Conqueror 1 players bruiser your defense, they take all the time in the world, they bring Renas on offense, and they kill your defense and take you down right at the end of rush hour and you can't recover back from it. So avoiding that situation is definitely a humongous strategy. So finding the rank that you feel comfortable with where it's going to be similar to what you're probably going to end at, but not so high that you're way up there at the beginning. You're getting hit by a lot of people that are much better than you going and dropping your rank that way. You got to be at a kind of a happy medium between the two. Don't be too high, don't be too low. I can't tell you what that is for your account. That's something that you have to be able to figure out yourself, just based on your own monsters. I wish I could give you more information, but it's experimenting. So playing throughout the week, playing lots of rush hours, as many as you can, being present, practicing every rush hour of, trying different things. Try start in Conqueror 1, start in Conqueror 3. If you can go up to G1, start in G1, and things like that. So that way you can kind of test which one's the best, where you can get some arena defense wins from the lower players where you're at. You don't get farmed by the higher players that are too good for you. You don't get farmed by the lower players that are gonna be way holding you back like a ball and chain. So for me, this week I decided to start around rank 500, as you guys can see. So I did use 2 invites, 2 wings in the first 30 minutes of rush hour. So I started off with 10. I used a few throughout the day to get myself positioned in order to kind of sit around that Conqueror 1, just barely out of G1 range. That's a range where I feel comfortable with right now at the AD that I'm running. If I were to go up to G1 and start in G1, it'd kind of be just a waste of wings, because what would happen is I'll be in G1 to start rush hour. Immediately I'll start getting hit. Immediately. And the hits will just keep on coming. They'll push me all the way back to rank 1000, whatever else, and I'll still be on those G1 players list. They see my defense, they think, okay, that's easy enough to fight, let's go ahead and still knock it through. And then you're way back in rank 1000, and then you try to start coming back throughout the rest of rush hour, and you have all the people that are in rank 1000 or Conqueror 2, Conqueror 3 behind you that are starting to see you on their list. And then as soon as you start trying to work your way back up, then you got people from Conqueror 2 bringing you back down again, Conqueror 1 bringing you back down, and it's just you go up, you go back down, you go up, you go back down all the first 30 minutes of rush hour, and you're wasting all of your wings, basically just throwing them away because they're not doing any good for you. So to be able to have a efficient rush hour where you can only refresh like once or twice, so that way the crystal reward that you receive at the end is worth it to pay back for those wings that you purchased, is really the name of the game, is being as high up as you can, not using as much invites as you can, so that way you can get the most return on your investment for crystals when you're refreshing your wings. So that's the strategy, and that's why I started at rank 500. That's kind of where I felt comfortable with. So staying around that rank throughout the first 30 minutes. If I got hit once, I would attack. If I got hit again, I would attack. If I lost, I would just, if they lost to my defense, I would just hold off on wings and not use anything until everything started rolling in pretty consistently. Then that's when I started back up again. And that was around when this video started. And that's typically the case though. Arena rush hour is really like last 30 minutes when it comes down to it. I mean, not always, because a lot of people still start fighting. Like as soon as the clock hits 12, they start spamming wings as much as possible. But it's just trying not to be on as many people's list as possible is really the strategy to position yourself before going into it. So that way, like I kind of explained earlier, you're not getting dragged down by lower players. You're not getting farmed down by higher players. You're just right in the medium where you're not getting hit too much because people are like, okay, that's a legit AD. Maybe I'll just pass it for right now. But as you can see, I kind of got lit up on that last round. I think I got hit like, I don't know, 6 or 7 times. So it brought me all the way down to 601. But you can kind of tell though, going from G1, I was in that range where my arena defense is probably not going to be super effective, and people are going to be able to kind of just knock me down real quick. I was able to grab 1 defense success out of all of them, so it kind of cancels out, and I basically got hit 4 or 5 times instead. But still, it definitely hurt me and made me feel like, maybe I can look into changing my arena defense. It did well for me this week. It almost got me in a G1. Yeah, spoiler alert. I didn't get Guardian 1. I finished just outside, like in the high 300 range. I was happy about it though. Progress is the main thing that you want to see. I'm still getting used to the Lucians. I don't typically use Lucians when I was on offense, because it doesn't really work a whole lot in Guardian 3 Arena. I know lots of people say that they have Lucians that bring them to Legend. I don't have Lucians that can bring me to Legend. I just don't have the runes for it on them, unfortunately. So I was always using my Zeros, my Tosi, Galleon, Triton, that kind of combination. It worked wonderful for me. Of course, I mean, Samaths, Pernas, Zeros kind of just takes care of it, and that's why I'm lucky to have Zeros, and that's why I felt a little guilty, because I was like, okay, well let me put myself in other people's shoes, see what they're actually dealing with, and that's why I decided to make this no natural 5-star series, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if it's a series or not. I'm just trying to put myself in the average everyday player. Even though the average everyday player does have at least a couple nat 5s that they use, and that's why I'm not completely counting out all of my monsters and just using like farmable feasible monsters. I'm using just basically everything that I can besides natural 5-star monsters, non-feasible natural 5-star monsters, because the idea is that other people will have at least 1 or 2 natural 5-star monsters, and they can incorporate that into their gameplay. I didn't use Tosi at all though this rush. I didn't use Cobalt Bomb or anything like that. The only LD Nat 4 that I used was Light Lich, but like I said, Light Lich is pretty replaceable just by a Shimate. The only thing is, I know how not having a Shimate goes. You can't always just say, snap your fingers and get a Shimate, unfortunately. But I would love a Shimate right now. Definitely would love a Shimate. I would probably even use it when I do start using my natural 5-star monsters again. I would say that I would probably still use a Shimate, because it would just be my 24% speed leader. I would have my 2 Lucians still and my Bernard, and go with that. But my AO was pretty on point for the most part for this rush. I don't think I've checked the time. Yeah, there was my defense right there. Got a couple of defense successfuls. Hopefully I'll check the time here soon just to see how much time we have left. .5 This should be that should have been I should have fought that arena defense. I think I will. That's Lucianable for sure. That's Santo Demo. He's typically a pretty good player. I was like, I skipped over his name at first because I was like, Santo Demo probably not gonna have an arena defense that's Lucianable. Then I went back to it. I was like, oh whatever, I'll just check. And then I was like, man, this is super doable. And I was able to grab a quick win against him in the last couple minutes here of rush hour. 4 minutes left. It took a little less than a minute to clear, but my defense got hit a couple times. Eternal, Beel's boss or whatever. And then I knew that at this point, the last 2 matches that I chose, those were going to be super important. That could potentially decide whether I get G1 or Conqueror 3. So I was being very selective, probably too selective. I tried to refresh my list there. It wasn't up for another minute, so I came back. You'll see throughout the video too, I grab coins or grab my mana from my little tree right there. The reason for that is so that way it refreshes my defense list. So I know, okay, has somebody hit me? You'll see I'll grab my mana again, go back in. Nobody's hit me still. Because for whatever reason, if you grab mana, it'll like refresh who's hit you. I don't want to use the 15 the 15 crystal refresh there, just because I feel like that's defeating the purpose of, you know, the good positioning, the strategy, and everything else behind it. I have one more invite as well, as you can see at the very top right. One more invite. So I'm kind of just holding off right now, hoping that I'll get a couple arena defenses in. Trying to figure out who's gonna give me the best opportunity. I think I ended up going with this one though. And I was like, as soon as I clicked on it, I was like, man, that might have been a mistake. Because there's an Ariel and a Camilla with the HP leader at 2 minutes left. That's a risky move. It's a really risky move. Plus it's a will. I was like, damn, this thing's got me. The Ariel procced Nemesis, healed up the team. And I was kind of shaken. I was super happy there that Ritesh didn't land any defense break, because that would have been devastating if he would have landed a defense break and then got an extra violent proc off, because Ritesh has seemed to violent proc a whole ton. But then I was like, okay, I gotta really get on it here to finish this Camille off, because he was, or she was, you know, pretty tanky here, as you can see. And I only had less than a minute left, so I was freaking out a little bit. I didn't, yeah, there's a time check, 12:59, hoping for no violent procs from the Camilla to regenerate. I was able to clear it out, still 12:59, check the time again, and finished off around 4:19, checked my defense, got hit one more time, I think one more time, maybe 2 more times, was it? I don't know, it clicked too fast. 4:19, and I think I had a defense when that came in that kind of brought me down to like 370 something, which was the final rank. But you can see the mana, I keep waiting for it to come back and then grab it again just to check if a defense comes in. 1 o'clock, it didn't look like anything came in, but it did. It unfortunately didn't update. But here's the runes again. If you guys haven't seen my other why my arena defense is successful, it almost got me to Guardian. It did fail me a little bit this week, but it did almost get me to Guardian. If you guys missed the runes though, just pause it, go back and look at them. Here's the Lucian runes though. I show you guys those. The stats there of the Lucians, that's completely broken. I go through them pretty quick just for time's sake, but if you guys pause the video throughout, you can kind of analyze the stats. The reason why I don't show you guys the actual stats on each rune is because I feel like that doesn't really matter, because you can have speed slot 2, crit damage slot 4, attack slot 6, and then I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm freaking myself out right now. But you could have attack, like I said, attack slot 6, and then have more attack than me, because you're instead of prioritizing attack subs on your substats for your other runes, you're prioritizing speed stats. So you have attack, crit damage, attack, instead of me being speed, crit damage, attack. Or say I have crit damage slot 4 and you put crit rate slot 4, and you prioritize crit damage substats instead of me, where I'm prioritizing crit rate substats. So depending on which one you use, it doesn't really matter what you use as long as your stats come out relatively similar. Like I said, the Lucians being at 100% crit rate, being super fast, so that way they don't get cut as well. It's not easy, so if you don't have the rune quality for that, I recommend starting off with a Seek Lucian team. So you have Bernard leader, Lucian, Seek. If you are lucky enough to have double Lucians. If not, use a different AoE monster with your first Lucian. And other than that though, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know it's a little bit different than what I normally do. It's kind of, you know, not the most exciting thing, but hopefully you guys learned some stuff. And if you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because I'm going to be doing one of these every week. And let me know if you like this style. I enjoyed it. I was able to sit here, sip some apple juice while I was, you know, talking about Summoner's War, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. But other than that, thank you so much as always. Stay soupy, don't be potatoes, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.